And what's up, everybody? We're back and we're very tired because we just recorded a whole episode and the file is gone. So now we have to do it over again. But welcome back to another episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast. I am joined tonight by Hitmaster, as always. This is our 50th episode. 50th episode. Cannot believe it. It's awesome that we're here doing this still. This is a big one for a lot of reasons. Daytona's in the books, Milwaukee is in the books, and the Cup playoff grid is set. So we're gonna go through it. We're gonna kind of speed run all the news and stuff because we're gonna go through it, but we're gonna be a little bit quicker with it than normal. And then we're going to go through the entire Cup playoff grid. And we're going to analyze all 16 drivers and how much of a shot we think they have to win the championship. And then at the end, we will preview this weekend's action at Darlington. So, let's just get right into it, shall we? First off, so we're going to do, because of the order that they ran this weekend, we're going to do Xfinity first, then the Cup Series, then the Truck Series, because they ran last. So in the Xfinity Series, there were a couple of big ones, a lot of exciting racing. A lot of the drivers were complaining about very loose race cars because of the fact that the Daytona surface is already wearing out big time, even though it's only like 12 years old, and I get that it's like, that's pretty old for a surface, but at the same time, they went 32 years almost between repaves, between like the last repave. So, and they were fine with it. I don't know. But the race went to overtime. Justin Allgaier, after many weeks of not being able to get the job done, not being able to clean up in certain situations, was able to finally get back to victory lane, barely beating out Sheldon Creed in a narrow photo finish, and getting the win for his second win of 2023. So that was really good. And then the Cup race. The big one struck in this one as well at the end of the second stage. That was actually the first incidental caution after some pretty intense but clean racing prior to that. A lot of three-wide action, a lot of lead changes, a lot of shifting of the guards. Really shook up the race. But then the big one, Brian Blaney had a massive hit in turn 3. Head on. It was very much like Dale Sr.'s crash, in my opinion. And it really was a little scary. He did seem a little delirious after in his interview, and I made me think that maybe there was possible concussion-like symptoms, but we have not heard anything out of Ryan Blaney, the camp, that he's not going to race, so we assume that he will be. And that's great because we don't want to see him get injured. We don't want to see his playoff chances pretty much ruined because of this, and stuff like that. But and then the other big crash after the third stage went almost completely caution free with 3 laps to go, though. Another crash. Ryan Preece flipped, and this was one of the most massive flips I have ever seen in my life. It's like the Rusty Wallace 1993 flip at Daytona all over again, more so like the Scott Riggs 2005 flip. It just was insane to watch. The car was disintegrated pretty much. It was flying 40-50 feet in the air, going so fast, and the reason actually why that happened is because the bottoms of the cars are so flat that there's no air that can get through them. And that's why it picked up and flew in the air like it did. So there's actually a lot of criticism going around for that. But somehow Ryan Preece is able to walk out of that car, He had to get onto a stretcher pretty much immediately afterwards, but it was a little scary because there was crews surrounding the car, and he didn't like get out right away. He needed help getting out of the car, and that was a little scary to watch, especially with everything going on. And but he was able to, and then he was transported to the infill care center and later the hospital. But he was released, and he tweeted and said, "I'm okay." And that is just great news there. So, all good stuff to see there. Then we went to OT, and after some pretty exciting racing, the field kind of stalled out pretty much. And Chris Buescher was able to clean up and somehow get his third win in 5 races in cleanup in overtime. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy to see, absolutely. But well-deserved win for Chris Buescher, and a 1-2 finish for RFK for the first time since 2014. That is very, very impressive. Chase Elliott, despite running a great race, was not able to get the victory, and thus he was eliminated from the playoffs. Ty Gibbs was eliminated in the crash. Nobody else really showed up, and so that opened up the door for Bubba Wallace to secure his first ever playoff appearance with getting in on points. So that was really, really cool to see there. Alex Bowman was eliminated, obviously, as well. And Bowman and Elliott did not really deserve to make it because they didn't run the whole season. So at least you get that. But all good stuff there. And then in the Milwaukee truck race, their first time back in 14 years, was a little boring in my opinion. They were kind of dick riding Ty Majeski for a while because he won last week at the Indy Raceway Park, and like he had a penalty and they were going over that. But meanwhile, Grant Enfinger in GMS 23 truck, after announcement that they were going to be ceasing operations at the end of 2023, and then they go to this race, the first one since that announcement, and he pulls off a dominant win under the Milwaukee crowd in tow, for a very, very feel good win in my opinion, and was able to lock himself in. I've never watched Milwaukee before, so I don't know how good of a return it really was, but the crowd reception definitely was good. I think the driver reception was good. The racing product was all right. I mean, I only got to watch like half of it, so there you go. But from what I heard, it was pretty good. It just felt like a New Hampshire track with a little bit more wear on it, in my opinion. But maybe they'll give it a little bit of retracking or repaving or something like that, or maybe up some of the product for the trucks. Who knows? But overall, not a bad weekend of racing overall. Nobody got hurt, and that's really at the end of the day all that matters. And we saw a lot of great racing. So I don't know if you want to put anything in about that, Hitmaster, but
I'm just happy that Reese and Blaney isn't injured. Both their wrecks were huge. So I mean, I'm just glad they're not injured.
Oh yeah, it was good. It was good. So we got a lot of news, but since we already did this once, we're just kind of gonna breeze through it again. Here we go. NASCAR and FanDuel announced a multi-year partnership. NASCAR also extended their media rights partnership for another 4 years with Sports Trader. Both of those are gambling companies. Yeah, sports betting sucks, and I get it. Money thing, it just sucks. Like, I don't know. I don't like it, but what are you gonna do? It's kind of already being done anyways, so nothing really new there. Also, Kurt Busch, we knew this was coming, but he officially announced his retirement at Daytona right before the Cup race. Yeah, that's sad. It really is, because Kurt was a great racer who I think still had some fight left in him. But the fact that we're over a year since his Pocono crash and he is still not fully cleared to race means to me that he's probably never going to be cleared to race, or at least not enough where he's going to feel safe getting back in the car again. So this is the best possible move for his health and life going forward. So it's a very good idea that he made this decision. But it sucks. Kurt was a great racer over many, many, many tenures with Roush, Penske, James Finch, the Furniture Row, Stuart Haas, Chip Ganassi, and then 2311 Racing. Did a lot of great things. Won a championship. He's won the Daytona 500. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. And nothing will ever take that away from him. So I wish you the best in retirement, Kurt. Hope to see you maybe on TV or something going forward, but gonna miss you seeing you on the racetrack for sure. We had a couple of crew swaps though as well over the week. Harrison Burton and Austin Cindric have swapped crew chiefs. No real reasons said as to why that was done. They're both out of the playoffs though, and they've both been rather unimpressive this season. So it might just be a way to get them to try and perform better. They said it's going to go through 2023 and possibly into 2024. So this might be a little bit more of a long-term, more premeditated decision than it may have seemed right away. But that's looking good there. Also, there was a crew swap in the Joe Gibbs camp, which makes a little less sense because it's involving Christopher Bell and Ty Gibbs. Bell is in the playoffs. Gibbs is not. I don't understand why you're swapping the crews. I don't know if it's because the 54 crew is much better and they want Bell to have better performance in the playoffs. I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but hopefully it brings good, but we'll have to see. Also, Affliction Clothing will be partnering with the Live Fast 78 team this weekend at Darlington. The paint scheme honestly looks pretty nice, but let's be honest, we're not going to see much of it on the track because it's in the Live Fast 78 car. So,
And Live Fast is kind of trash.
yeah. Also, after the Milwaukee truck race, Ty Majeski, who we just said Fox Sports 1 was dick riding because they were, he was given an L2 penalty after some illegal modifications. Both the driver and the team were docked 75 points plus 5 playoff points. Crew chief was fined $25,000 and has been suspended for the next 4 races. And with the truck series not having that many races left, because they are only racing like every other week at this point, enjoy your vacation while it lasts, buddy. Also, Dawson Cram is running a 2003 Kyle Petty throwback for the Xfinity race. He drives in the 44 car. I did not know who this guy was until hearing about this throwback that he's doing. A weird throwback for sure. Kyle Petty did not run that great in 2003. But you do what you gotta do, I guess. And finally, Matt DiBenedetto announced that he is not returning to Rackley WAR next season. The truck team that he currently runs for, he's ran there for a couple of seasons now, got a win, he's in the playoffs, but will not be returning. Hopefully this means he's going up again, back to the Xfinity or even to the Cup Series, but maybe it's just because they got somebody better waiting in the wings, who knows. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Whew. That was pretty much it for all the news that I had this week. I don't think Hitmaster had anything. I know he didn't have anything because we already did this once. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to make sure my cat doesn't break down the door, and Hitmaster's going to fill the time. I'll be right back in just a couple seconds. Shit.
Just letting people know that this wallpaper that is Chris Busher. I'm his nose. I don't know what else to say. I'm not usually the master at this. What else should I say? I don't know. What else could I say? He's back.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay. Now I don't have to hear that annoying squeaking noise while we're doing this. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of the 16 Cup playoff drivers. The grid is set. We're not going to predict, I guess, if you want my championship predictions, you can go check out my NASCAR playoff predictions video that I did earlier in the week. I have a little bit of updated thoughts and stuff about the drivers beforehand now versus what I had maybe back then, because I have a little more evaluations, because I didn't know about the health stuff with both Ryan Blaney and stuff like that. And now we've got the crew swap in the 20 team to worry about too, so that might have a little bit of an implication about it. But we're just going to evaluate how good we think they're going to perform in the playoffs, and then at the end we can make our. Well, I'm not going to make a championship prediction. I think we're just going to do that, and then preview Darlington.
Go by each week.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do no. Anyway, let's move on. So we're going to go bottom up. So in 16th, 8 points below the cut line going in, is Bubba Wallace. Just barely got in on points. He's not going anywhere. No, he is not. He's not doing a whole lot in the playoffs, in my opinion. Just saying that right now. His only saving grace is the fact that he has gotten a victory before at Kansas. That race is in the first round of the playoffs. So it is possible that he could get a win there and move on, but it's not looking like that's going to be the case. So, he's pretty much going to be a first round exit. Kevin Harvick is next in 15th, 4 points below the cut line. In his final Cup season, was able to make the playoffs after Stuart Haas had a really abysmal season. Stuart Haas should be lucky that one of their cars is even in the postseason to begin with.
About singing more than hitting helmets.
Harvick has been rather mediocre this season. He's had some flashes of his talents, but in my opinion, there just isn't a track that I think really suits him in the postseason. He does have a win. He does won at Bristol before, and he could win. These are all tracks that I think he could win, but none that I really think fully should be, in my opinion. I have him as another first round exit, though him making a Cinderella run in the postseason would be really, really cool to see, and I would totally be okay with him doing it. But we'd have to find out. So, and then Michael McDowell is not Michael McDowell. Recky Spinhouse is next, 3 points below the cut line. Going in, he's not doing anything. He's been terrible since his Daytona 500 win, and that's the only reason why he's even here. So he is not. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna waste more breath on him. I'm not gonna waste more time on him. He is bad. He's not going anywhere. And then the other driver below the cut line is Michael McDowell. He's only a point below it. He's been has picked up some strong momentum late in the season. But that's mainly been on the road courses, and there isn't a road course in the first round. He was very, very bad in his first go around with the playoffs a couple of years ago. And that could very well repeat. I think he's going to put up a better fight, though. I really do. But is it going to be worth getting a win? I don't think so. I think he's probably going to be a first-round exit, but he could maybe sneak his way in on points in the second round if the pieces can fall his way. It would take a lot, but they could do it. So, and then in 12th, a point above the cut line is Ryan Blaney. And, I was a little, in my original playoff predictions video, I was a little skeptical about really predicting him to go far because I didn't know about the concussion stuff, but it doesn't seem like he has, that's not going to be a problem, at least now. He's going to be running. I don't expect him to do much. I do expect him to get past the first round. That's really it. He did win at Charlotte, but other than that, he's not done that great this season. He's not done bad, but he's not done awesome, So I think it's going to be enough to get past the first round, and that's really about it. I'm going to say the same thing for his teammate, Joey Logano, as well. They're both tied, but Logano is officially put in 11th for some reason. Almost only a point above the cut line. Logano, again, his 2022 title defense season has not been the greatest. He's kind of in a little bit of that hangover, so I think that will carry over into a slumpy run in the playoffs. Like I said, it's not going to be hard to get out of the first round, especially when 3 drivers below the cut line are Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Michael McDowell. But going any farther than that's going to be a difficult challenge, and it might require him to get a win. And there's just not one track that I think he's really, really going to be spectacular at. So. And then next up is Tyler Reddick in 10th, 2 points above the cut line. His first season with 2311 has not been horrible. Actually, compared to the first few races of the season for him, it's been pretty good. But he's another guy where I could just see him. He's going to point his way through the first round. But get to the second round, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to be the case, buddy. I'm sorry, but I think that's where I'm going to put him as another second round exit, in my opinion. But then the dark horse in 9th, 3 points above the cut line, is Brad Keselowski. RFK has been on a tear these last few weeks. Keselowski, even though he hasn't gotten into victory lane, has been able to put up some really, really good runs, gets lots of stage points, and despite not winning a race, he's in 9th. While the other 2 drivers who are winless in the playoffs, Bubba Wallace and Kevin Harvick, are in the bottom 2 spots. So I could see Brad Keselowski going pretty far in the playoffs. I think he's definitely in past the first round. Definitely in past the second round. I could go as far as putting him in the final 4 as well. It's kind of a stretch, but I think at least he's going to make the third round. Because that's just how good he's been. And there's definitely some tracks on the schedule that he can win at. Talladega is one that I definitely could see him win at. I think he will win a race. Where, again, is to be determined, but
right
there you go. And then in 8th, 4 points above the cut line, is Ross Chastain, who has been quite quiet for the majority of the second half of the 2023 season. I do expect him to pick up a little bit going into the playoffs, obviously because it is the playoffs, but he is, but I don't expect him to go super far. I could easily see him being a second round exit. Maybe get past to the third round if he can capitalize some other drivers' misfortunes. Would help him. Obviously, there's Martinsville still in the on the schedule and stuff that he could do really well at, but
again, sorry if we're stuttering. By the way, it is 11:37.
I'm so tired.
Where we're at. We are so tired.
I'm literally just trying not to fall asleep right now, but I'm doing it. This is for you guys. This is episode 50. I am not giving up, even if my cat fucked us over. Okay? We had a good one going, too. we had a good episode going. We were going on an hour, and I was rambling. I was having a good time, and here we are. Anyway, in seventh is Christopher Bell. So he is 7 points above the cut line, and we got to take into account his crew chief swap now as well. I don't think it's really going to be that big of a factor. I mean, the 54 team pit crew wasn't really having a lot of pit problems as far as I know, so I don't think it'll be that much of an issue going into the playoffs. But Bell himself, he's probably going to have to pull some late magic that he had last season in the playoffs, and winning every cutoff race, it seemed like, to get to the Final Four. Ended up finishing third last season, and I think he will need some of that magic. He won the Bristol Dirt Race, so there you go. But he's going to need a little more than that if he's going to make a run at the playoffs. And then in sixth, 10 points ahead, is Kyle Larson, another driver. And keep feeling like I'm starting to repeat myself here. He's had some good flashes. He's won some races. Done pretty good this season. But is it good enough to make a run at the championship? I don't really think so. He's got those 2 wins. I could definitely see him going past the first round, probably the second round. But he's a guy that I'm probably going to call a third round exit. Maybe even a second round. He could have some problems and just not even get there. And that would obviously suck for him, but wouldn't not be too surprised, honestly. And then Kyle Busch in fifth, 12 points above the cut line. What a season it has been for Kyle Busch. Leaves Joe Gibbs, his team since 2008, in turmoil, goes to RCR, back to Chevy's for the first time since 2007. He has picked up 3 wins and has looked great while doing it, and has been able to really, really run the table, and has done a lot of great things this season. And that, I think, will equate to a fairly decent, deep playoff run, though those 3 wins came a little earlier in the season at Auto Club, Talladega, and one other track I can't think of right off the top of my head. But there is, again, Talladega on the schedule, and there's a few other tracks on the schedule that really do cater to Kyle Busch's driving style. He's good at a lot of tracks, and so I think that will really, really help him hopefully make a good run in the playoffs. So definitely another driver, probably going to be in the third round. Maybe if he can win a couple races, get to the Final Four, but I really don't see that happening. He just hasn't looked that strong down the stretch. So Chris Buescher is in fourth. Who saw this coming? 14 points above the cut line. He is without a doubt, the hottest driver. He is white hot going into the playoffs. 3 wins in the last 5 races at multiple different tracks, and he has done it in very convincing fashion. Last year he got a win at the Bristol night race, and thought, it's just, he lucked out of this. Richmond, same thing. People started taking him a little more seriously after his win at Michigan, and then he won Daytona last week, and he's like, whoa, man, we gotta really start considering him now. He's a dark horse title favorite for a lot of people, in my opinion, and I have him going to the Final Four. I can't see him not going to the Final Four, because you think of the tracks that he's won at, right? The Bristol night race is on the playoff schedule. Literally on the playoff schedule. He won there last year. He can do it again. Also Martinsville, another short track, is also on the schedule. Because Talladega, another super speedway. I think the speed at Michigan that he found could really equate to some good runs at like Kansas or Homestead, or even like Phoenix or those tracks. So it could really be a season of real redemption and real dominance for Chris Buescher, and could really, really show him some good speed and stuff. And then in third, 18 points above the cut line, is Denny Hamlin. And I don't have Denny as going as far as a lot of other people probably do, because there's a lot of stuff in the background, a lot of rumors going around about his future with JGR, or even a future with his big sponsors like FedEx, that I really think are going to hinder his possibilities of making a deep run in the playoffs. Also because Denny likes to choke in the playoffs, so there's that as well. I have him probably going to the third round. I could honestly see him, if he has a really Kevin Harvick 2020-esque season, not even making it out of the second round. Because he's got that 18-point cushion. He's really, I think, going to fall back on it to get him into the third round. But he's really going to need to win in the third round. I just don't see him really doing it. And then Martin Truex Jr. and William Byron are both tied for first in the playoffs. We'll start with Truex, though, who, wow, what a season he has put on. 3 wins, and has looked great while doing it. He's the regular season champion. He gets 15 playoff points for that, and has done awesome stuff. Been really fast all season, especially debunking the retirement rumors that he had earlier in the season, and he is here to stay, and I think he has a very legitimate shot at the championship. He is a lock for the Final Four, in my opinion. He's got the points cushion to really justify needing to coast if that comes down to it, but I think he will also I think he will win a race or two in the playoffs. There's a lot of tracks he's really good at in the playoffs, and I think that will equate to a good run. So, and then the other driver tied for the lead right now is William Byron, another lock for the Final Four, in my opinion. I didn't have him as a lock. He'd won 4 races earlier in the season, but had kind of stalled out for a while. But he picked up a win at Watkins Glen, and I think that really reinvigorated a lot of the momentum that Byron had earlier on in the season. And I really think that will equate to him making a pretty deep run in the playoffs. He's had a really good season with running well on lots of different tracks, road courses, 1.5 miles, even doing pretty well in the super speedways. The short tracks might be a little bit of his kryptonite, but I think he will be able to avoid it and hopefully make a good run at it. So, but that's kind of the overall analysis that I have on the 16 drivers. I don't know if you want to add any points on the drivers themselves, Hitmaster, but and kind of like give your like bracket predictions and thoughts, because you weren't in my playoff predictions video.
Well, I will be making a playoff prediction. I think I'll probably have to do it Saturday morning. But I think that Harvick is going to make it in and not Blaney. The only reason why I say that is because Kevin Harvick is good at Bristol. Blaney hasn't been doing so hot. I'm looking up right now the playoff stuff and the the stats that Kevin Harvick has, and Harvick compared to Blaney. Harvick has 3 wins in each Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol, and like that. Heck, even Kansas, he has 5 poles with 12 top 10s and 19 top 5s. That's pretty good. Meanwhile, you got Blaney, who has an egg in the win column for Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol. So I think Harvick can make it, no matter if Harvick's old as a bat, but I still think he can make it at least the top 12, and then he'll get eliminated for the top 8.
Fair. I mean, Harvick could definitely make a deep run at it, but I don't know. Just doesn't feel like he has the strength to do it, but powers of retirements always show their stuff in the playoffs.
I mean, Jeff Gordon somehow made it to the Final Four.
Somehow.
I wonder how. I wonder how we got to the Final Four. Pat Kenseth again. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I guess we won't do our full predictions. If you want to watch mine, go watch the video that I did earlier in the week. Hitmaster's got one coming out soon as well before we get to stuff. But this has been a quickie episode because of technical difficulties. Once again, I apologize. But we're jumping into the race weekend predictions today, Darlington. But first, so we already talked about the playoff outlook for Cup. Let's read off the playoff outlook for the trucks in the Xfinity Series as well, real quick. Give an update.
All right, let me go to that standings and trucks playoff standings. So now we are in the round of 10. Grant Enfinger and Ty Majeski are locked into the final 8. And coming on their last, I think it's the last race of the round of 10. Ben Rhodes and Matt DiBenedetto are fighting for that last spot for that chance to be in the round of 8. Nicholas Sanchez is up by 3 of Ben Rhodes, and Matt DiBenedetto is behind by 20. So Matt DiBenedetto needs to do something, whether he needs to win both stages next week and then somehow be in front of Ben Rhodes or something. But right now, Corey Heim, I think these are the people that I think are locked in the playoffs. You got Carson Hocevar, Kristen Eckes, and Corey Heim. And then, of course, you got the 2 winners. But you got those 5 drivers that I think locked in the playoffs.
Okay.
I didn't say Zane Smith's name because you never know. He could wreck, and then it could change. Zane Smith could be out. One person could be in. And then, of course, you got Matt Crafton, which I'm surprised Matt Crafton's still in this.
It's Matt Crafton. Never count him out.
I guess not. One of the only Thor Motorsports drivers in this playoffs. And then you got Nicholas Sanchez. I don't even know who Nicholas Sanchez is, but I guess he could be in a possibility of not making the round of 8. Who knows? But that is the truck side. And now we are headed to the Xfinity Series. I don't know how many more they have until
I think it's 2 races. They got 2 races left until they're cut off because Bristol's either the first. Yeah, they got Darlington, and then they're going to Kansas, I think, and Kansas is the cutoff race, or Bristol's the cutoff race.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go to the ones that
They've got at least 2.
Right. Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the 2 right now that are basically actually I will do this. Wait. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find this.
You're fine.
Does the Xfinity Series have 10 drivers?
I think the Xfinity is 12.
Is it? Okay.
I think. Truck has 10. Xfinity is 12. Cup 16. I think that's how it goes.
So you have, if I'm looking at this correctly, the final spots, I guess the last two spots are Brandon Jones and Riley Herbst to get in, unless 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Okay, yeah, wait, no, that works. All right, because then it goes 12 to 8. So yeah, Riley Herbst and Brandon Jones are on the cups of being eliminated and not in the playoffs. So they either have to win or something. Because right now, Riley Herbst is 20, and Brandon Jones definitely needs to win because he is 88 points behind. So, with that being said, right now, Josh Berry and Shelton Creed are locked in. Daniel Hemrick is going to be locked in. So, that's basically what we're going to have to worry about the next, 3 races? 4 races?
Right.
And then, of course, you got the Cup Series. We probably don't need to talk about the Cup Series.
We already ran through the whole Cup grid,
Yeah.
so we're all good to go there. But that's your playoff outlook as we inch closer or farther into the playoffs. But let's talk about this weekend's action. Darlington, the trucks are off, but the Xfinity and Cup will be at Darlington for the Labor Day action. No longer the throwback weekend, which is annoying, but so obviously it's Xfinity. There's going to be a lot of pressure for drivers who are on the bubble to either stay in there or make a lot of ground up. And for the Cup, it is the first race of the playoffs. So they are going to be really, really pushing to make up a lot of ground or fix a lot of things going into the weekend. Darlington, as we all know, is a very, very tough track. Too tough to tame is its nickname. And I think that will play a very big factor here, especially with the Sunday night race. A lot of engine issues last year's event. Tire issues are always a key. Hitting the wall, stuff like that. So we should see a lot of great racing, a lot of endurance action, and hopefully a very, very exciting finish too. So, but let's drop our Xfinity winning predictions. First, who do you think is going to win this weekend?
Brandon Jones.
Fuck, I was going to say Brandon Jones too.
I mean, you can say Brandon Jones.
I'm going to say Brandon Jones just so we can speed the process up more. I think there's all the junior motorsports cars, in my opinion, are going to make the playoffs, and Brandon Jones is the only one that's not in right now. So I just think that's how it's got to go. And then the Cup race. Here we go. We got the chips out.
So I took out 3 chips. Reason why is it's the playoffs, and the only 3 drivers that are not in the playoffs that I took out was Harrison Burton, the 14 of Chase Briscoe, and Austin Cindric.
Okay.
So the only ones I have in here are the well, there goes Blaney. The only ones I have are the playoffs. So let me go. All right, I'll make this quick.
Okay.
This is for Tyler. I'm not gonna check it. I'll move it around and you got a good one.
Ooh, I'll take that pick. That's a good one. He's got a good shot.
He's first place in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Of course, he's got a good shot.
Well, it's Darlington. Hitmaster's turn. It is. And he walks off screen.
It looks like it's going to be a battle this week.
Oh, well, the 2 top drivers duking it out. Well, you know what? If this is a week for us to have a correct prediction, this is our best shot right here.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
It's pretty awesome stuff. But okay, well, we're finally done. Hopefully for good this time.
Yeah, and after
Sorry
this, we're just
about the
gonna keep
delay.
it.
Sorry about the delay. Well, I guess you guys don't see any of the delay, but sorry about the jumbly mess. We'll be back on full schedule next week when we recap what happened this weekend at Darlington and go over the updated playoff grid and preview Kansas as well. So that's going to do it for this video, and that's going to do it for this episode. Go check out all of Hitmaster's awesome content. Go watch his Cup playoff predictions video. Go check out all of the other
We'll
stuff.
be out soon.
Check out some other amazing content here as well. And make sure to subscribe to Hitmaster. And so that's going to do it for this video. So stay tuned. Till next time. Till next week. See you guys later. Yeah, bye.